All right, now we're going to move on to truth tables for conditional statements, okay, for our if-then statements. So I'm going to switch things up from cats and dogs. We're going to make statement P this time be you pay for expedited shipping, okay? And Q is you will receive your order within 2 days. So when would the company's promise P implies is the way that I'll say that, or if P, then Q be true, okay? So P is you pay for expedited shipping. So this first statement is saying you pay for expedited shipping. So you actually do pay. That's true. And Q, then you get your order within 2 days. So you paid and you got your order within 2 days. Was their claim true or false? Their claim was true. Okay. You paid, you got your order within 2 days. Boom. You're a happy customer, right? Okay. Now let's look at a different set of possible combinations of truth values. Okay, so P, you pay for expedited shipping. Okay, but then Q, you got your order within 2 days is false. That did not happen. Okay, so you paid, but you don't get your order within 2 days. What happens? What is the claim of that company? Is that company's claim true or is that company's claim false? Okay. Are you a happy customer or are you kind of an angry customer because you paid all this extra money and you didn't get it? Okay. You would be an angry customer. Their claim in this case would be false. Okay. They told you something would happen and it didn't happen. So they lied. All right. Okay. Moving on to the next one. So P, you pay for expedited shipping is false. So in other words, you don't pay for expedited shipping. Okay. But it's true that you get your order within 2 days. Is their claim true or false? Well, did you get your order within 2 days? I mean, are you a happy customer? It's actually still true, okay? Even though you didn't pay for expedited shipping, you got the order within 2 days, so they haven't lied to you, okay? In fact, they probably exceeded your expectations. And so in this case, it's still a true statement. You, in fact, are a thrilled customer. Okay, because you got away with it. You didn't have to pay extra and you still got your order super fast, right? So that's true. Okay, and then the last one. So P is false. So you don't pay for expedited shipping. Okay, and Q is false. In other words, you don't get your order within 2 days. So you didn't pay and you didn't get your order within 2 days. Is the company's claim true or false? Well, if you didn't pay extra, is it wrong to expect your order to not get there within 2 days? Of course not. You expect it to take longer, and so their claim is still true. Okay? So again, notice in this case, there's only one time this statement is false. If the if part is met, if you do this, then I'll do that. If the person does it and you don't do your part, that's where it's wrong. Okay? Anything else is true. Okay, anything else is true. Think about having kids. If you don't stop hollering right now, you're not going to get a piece of candy when we go through the checkout. Well, if they keep pitching their little fit or whatever it is they're doing and you still give them candy at the checkout, guess what you just taught them? It's perfectly fine. Okay, so again, the only way that works is if you tell them they're not going to get it and they don't get it. Just another way to put that. All right, last set of truth tables here is for a biconditional. Okay, so a biconditional actually means it kind of has to work both ways. It's an if and only if. So it really means you can write your phrase in either direction. And I've got that here. So our statement, he will get an A in the class if and only if he gets an A on the final, is the same thing as saying if he gets an A in the class, then he got an A on the final. And if he gets an A on the final, then he'll get an A in the class. Okay, they both have to be true in either direction in order for P, if and only if Q, to be true. Okay, so again, taking a look at a couple of examples here. So if P is true, so he gets an A on the final, and Q is true, he got an A in the class, P, and Q is true, he gets an A on the final. Is it true he gets an A on the final if and only if he gets an A in the class, or vice versa? Then yes. Okay, yes, of course, that is true. He met both of those qualifications. He got an A on the final, he got an A in the class. Works both ways. Okay, all right, if P is true, he got an A in the class, okay? And Q is false. He did not get an A on the final. Then is it true to say he got an A in the class if and only if he got an A on the final? Well, no, okay? Because somehow he didn't get an A on the final and he still got an A in the class. So that makes this statement false. Okay, and then last, excuse me, last but not least. So if it's false that he got an A in the class, okay, so he didn't get an A, so no A in the class, okay, and he didn't get an A on the final. No A on the final. No A in the class, no A on the final. Is that a true statement? Okay, so he didn't get an A in the class, he didn't get an A on the final. That's an if and only if. If one had to happen for the other thing to happen, he had to get an A in the class to get an A on the final and vice versa. This actually works out to be true. Okay, he didn't get an A in the class if and only if he didn't get an A on the final. In other words, the only way he wasn't going to get an A is if he bombed his final somehow or got a B or whatever. Okay, so with this one, the patterns that I personally like to kind of pay attention to is that when the truth values of the original statements are the same, so true, true gives you a true, and a false, false gives you a true. That's kind of the pattern. When those truth values here are the same, that's when you get a true statement on the other side. Okay, so those are the basics, okay? The negation, conjunction, disjunction, conditional, and biconditional. Those are your basic truth tables. Once you have those, from there you can analyze any argument, no matter how big or complex it happens to be. And that's what we're going to be going on to in the next page.